Welcome to the Business Bites Podcast, the podcast for busy entrepreneurs. Whether you're an online entrepreneur or seeking after brick and mortar success, this podcast brings you quick bites of content so you can learn and grow anywhere you are. Now here's your host, Rachel Brainke.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Business Bites Podcast. I am your host, Rachel Brainke. I am joined today with Jessica Freeman from Jess Creatives. We're going to talk a little bit about getting started on YouTube and using video to grow your business. I know you guys have seen all the videos that have been going around the internet. We've got all sorts of platforms and it can be completely overwhelming. So I wanted to bring Jessica on to talk to us a little bit just about YouTube. And we're going to mention a couple other platforms, but really the focus is going to be using this platform that's been around for a while and it's still relevant, still ready, and it is tried and true. It has stuck around while other ones have fallen off. So Jess, thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Of course. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself in case the listeners don't know who you are?
Of course. I run Jess Creatives, a graphic and web design company, and I work primarily with service-based business owners for websites, logos, all that kind of fun stuff. And then I also have a second business, Easy Peasy Studio, where I do video and podcast editing with my husband and also YouTube management.
Very cool. Well, one of the things that really interested me about having Jess come on here, she has a blog post and an ebook that I'm going to link in the show notes for you guys to be able to get. But the blog post that really caught my eye was getting started on YouTube and branding your videos. Obviously, with the podcast, I don't have visual branding necessarily because I don't have the visual part of this going on. But YouTube is something that even I have struggled with. As advanced as I feel that I have been in marketing, I have struggled just nailing the YouTube. So this is going to be a learning experience for me as well. And I guess my biggest question to you, which I kind of already feel I know the answer, but do you feel that video is essential in marketing a business now? And how has that changed maybe from the last couple of years?
Yeah, so I absolutely believe that video is essential this year and last year, maybe even the year before, all the experts said video is it. That's like king this year. And I started YouTube about 2 years ago, and I myself was hesitant to start doing video. I didn't want to be on camera, and I'm like, blogging is fine. That's enough.
It's stressful to get in front of the camera. You have to do your hair, your makeup, put on pants.
The whole 9 yards.
Right.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just typing up a quick blog post, but it really, YouTube is owned by Google, so it's super easy to, I shouldn't say easy, but it's easier for you to show up in Google search results with videos because it's like its own search engine. And it really makes it amazing connections with your audience. It really builds that know, like, and trust factor with your audience. I have had several clients who were talking to me, about like, oh, do I need a website? Do I want to hire you? And then they had questions. I had videos to answer those questions. I sent it to them and they hired me. And, fast forward to the end of the project, I'm getting feedback and they're like, I saw you on video. I saw that you knew what you were talking about, that you were nice, you were relatable, and that sold it for me.
That's awesome.
And this is like my early videos that I'm super awkward. I'm not like comfortable on camera. It's like 1 minute long. So it's not even, and I shot it with my iPhone. So not a fancy video, not a long video. And that has helped seal the deal on getting me more clients. Just a simple video.
So if it is really, there is some that comes into it, but it can be simple. Why do you think that so many businesses are not utilizing video content? I've already told you mine. I don't want to put on pants.
I think one of the biggest things, which was my problem, was you don't feel comfortable on camera. None of us like hearing ourselves or looking at ourselves. And that's because we're not used to it. Like, unless you are, a newscaster, you're probably not used to being on camera. It's not something that you do every day. Even when we, do Instagram stories and stuff like that, it's totally different when you're uploading a video to YouTube where millions of people can watch you. So I think the first thing is people are just scared of it. And I mean, and I was too. So I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, because I totally was too. But then I think it's also the technical aspect, like, well, what do I shoot with? How do I edit? And how do I actually like upload a video and actually see some ROI from it? How do I just upload and call it like movie number one? Like, is that actually going to work? Or, it's learning all the technical stuff. So it is, it is its own platform. So there is a learning curve, but it's definitely worth investing the time into it, and if necessary, some money. But it really can be like a game changer for your business and for your visibility.
It's interesting. The first point you said that we don't like looking at ourselves, we don't like hearing ourselves. Even myself as a speaker, I cringe whenever I do it, but it is a routine practice that I have integrated in order to grow myself. And even if I'm not necessarily going to do video, just the mere idea of knowing how to change my presentation, because I'm going to have to interact with people in life, especially in business, at some point.
Right.
And whether that means I'm going to translate it to video or not, so I kind of feel like you can kill two birds with one stone. The more you do it, the more comfortable I feel you get in front of the camera or public speaking. I was terrified. If you had told me 10 years ago that I'd be a public speaker, traveling the world to speak, I'd been like, you're crazy. But I started it by self-recording. None of those will ever see the light of day, but I did it to learn what I needed to change. But the second one also, and I think honestly, this is sometimes, even with my background as a photographer, that I can get overwhelmed about the type of equipment that I need to get started with video. I mean, what would you suggest for people to look, or a resource that they can kind of get going on that?
Yeah, so I always tell people you can absolutely start with your iPhone, or even if you have like an Android or whatever, you can start with your smartphone. The cameras now are so good, it doesn't even matter. And really, I mean, yes, you'll see YouTubers who have like super high definition videos, but it's not a must have. People want to see you, they want to hear from you, they want to connect with you, and having, a small megapixel difference in the definition of your video is not going to be a deal breaker. Now, if you are sitting in the dark corner of your basement and you like can't hardly see yourself and it's echoey, okay, maybe we can change that. But really, starting with your iPhone, sit at your desk or stand in front of a wall. It doesn't have to be fancy. My first videos were shot with an iPhone, sitting at my desk. I think at that point I didn't even have like lighting. I didn't have professional lighting. I just used the light in my room. That was it. Eventually I upgraded to a slightly better camera, and I stood in front of a window so that the lighting was a little bit better. And now I use a DSLR with a microphone and a light set. And I've only done these upgrades out of my own desire, like just because I wanted it to look nicer. Does anybody like call out, oh my gosh, you are shooting videos on an iPhone, how dare you? Like, don't.
I actually feel like it's almost more forgiving now to have a lower quality, which is so funny because you would think it'd be the opposite, that as technology has advanced, we would expect a more higher quality video. But because of reality TV shows and Instagram stories, Facebook Live, I feel like everyone is really more accepting of imperfect video.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I mean, some people edit out their tiny little bloopers, or, they stumble over their words and they'll redo it. And it's fine if you want to redo that, but people know that you're not perfect. And I mean, especially if you're doing kind of a vlog style, like you're maybe going behind the scenes, showing, you go to an event, or you're just like, hey, here's a look into my day, then that especially, people don't expect perfection. They don't expect the super high quality. And people really enjoy, as much as, informative educational videos are great, people also really like to see just behind the scenes and like, who is this person, that I see teaching me all this stuff? Like, what are they like day to day? So even if you like maybe vlog with your, your iPhone and then use something else for your, educational videos, that's totally fine. And just doing whatever is easiest, whatever is going to make it the most comfortable for you to, start doing video. That's what really matters. That's what I always say you should use.
Well, and it also begs the question to me, coming around to this whole idea of these fears of the technology, fears of public speaking, would you recommend that people do pre-recorded video content to put on YouTube, or maybe do Facebook Live and then upload it to YouTube? What is your recommendation with that?
So you can kind of do a combination, especially now that you can go live on YouTube, especially. I know there are people that do Facebook Lives and then download them and upload them to YouTube. Some people will say it doesn't convert as well because they know they're watching a Facebook Live and you're like chatting. You're like, oh, hi, Mary. And so they don't like it as much. But I think it kind of depends, because I know some people who do Facebook Lives and they don't interact with the watchers. They don't greet them or anything. They just do the live and then download it, and that's it. So that you can't really tell. So I think it's great to do Facebook Lives because that helps your Facebook reach, and it'll help you get more comfortable on camera. Really, truly, the more you do video in whatever form, if it's Instagram Live, Facebook Live, you just record videos and they don't go anywhere, any of that can really be beneficial. So I think it depends on the length and the content of the Facebook Live. And it kind of depends on your channel. Like if you are a newer channel, I might hold off until, you're in it for a year or a few months, you have some more followers, so that they are used to your pre-recorded content. And then you can start throwing in these lives to, supplement your other videos.
The one thing I like about the pre-recorded video content is that if I screw up, I can stop. Whereas if I'm on live, I mean, it's more real, or if the dogs come rip roaring through if I'm recording from the house, I've had that happen in the middle of a live, the dogs go nuts. And, but if I'm trying to deliver a real educational piece, it doesn't come off real well. Which is unfortunate. So, all right. So you say do it. Don't worry too much about the technology. But I know that some people will have this mindset, despite being told that they should get the minimum viable product out there, they still want their videos to look as professional as possible. What are 2 tips that you could give to kind of help give a little bit of that professional polish?
One thing I would say is be aware of your background or your setting. So make it look a little bit interesting. So if you go back to my early videos, I'm sitting at my desk. You can see my computer, some pens, it's pretty clean, whatever. And that was great because it kind of gives context. You can see that okay, she's sitting at a desk, so it's probably business related. I'm not going to start talking about how to cook macaroni. And then, now I stand in front of a gallery wall that I have in my office, and it just gives some more visual interest. Now, there's nothing wrong with standing in front of just a blank wall. I know a lot of people.
That's what I do. It is so bad.
But there's nothing wrong with it because again, people are they want to learn from you. They're not going to be like, oh my gosh, this video is so boring. She's standing in front of a wall. That's not it at all. But it just gives some more visual interest. It makes it a little bit, for lack of a better word, prettier. Right. And it just, again, gives that setting. The other thing is really pay attention to your lighting. So maybe you stand in front of a window. I did that for several videos, probably 5 or 6 months worth of videos. If you don't have a great window, or if the window's in an awkward spot and you're like, well, I have nowhere to set up my camera, there are pretty inexpensive lighting, light kits, light boxes that you can get just off Amazon. You could get one that just sits behind your camera. You could get a light ring, though those tend to be a little more expensive. You can have, I've seen people who DIY, they make their own light ring, or they'll just set up tall lamps.
I actually just got a really decent ring light off of Amazon for about $20, and it has a tripod area that I can put my phone, so I can
Oh,
do
well, there you
Facebook
go.
Live. It was about 20. I haven't used it yet. I just unpacked it yesterday. It's a little smaller than I would like for like the ring size, but I'll
Mhm.
test it out and I'll add it into the show notes if it works out.
Nice. Yeah. So you don't have to have, like 4 light boxes and, these drapes. Like it does not have to be fancy.
Hmm.
There are several options out there for lighting. You can even look on YouTube for DIY lighting kits, or YouTubers often share like their studio setups and they'll link to the specifics that they use. So,
Awesome.
um, I mean, yeah, you could definitely, spend a couple $1,000s on lighting, but you don't need to. You can find things for under $100. So those two things I think make the best looking videos, is your background and your lighting.
Awesome. And so, if say someone is just starting out, what would be like the main style content that video would be good to dip their toes into? Maybe should they start with like tip list or how-to videos? And I know this is dependent upon what they're selling and offering, but is there like one format that is easier for video beginners to present?
Yeah, so I usually recommend starting with how-to videos because those are pretty easy. It's, hey, here's how to do XYZ. And
Mm-hmm.
record your screen, or if it's a physical thing, you just show it, you unbox it, or, whatever. So those are pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of, thought leadership in it. This is the matter of fact, this is what you do. So you don't have to worry too much about scripting it and all that
Mm-hmm.
kind of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And is there like a target video length for that they should shoot for?
It's recommended to stay under at least 5 minutes, but you'll definitely want to pay attention to your YouTube analytics because you
Yes.
can see when people drop off of a video. And you can look specifically at each video, but you can also look at your channel average. So
Gotcha.
for me, my audience loves videos under 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I talk way too much to do 2 minutes. I even have a podcast, this one, that is like 10, 15-minute episodes. And that's still like, there's no way I could do 2 minutes.
Yeah. So,
No
and
way.
I know, and it's crazy, and not to say that, you know, you have to stay under that. And part of the reason that my audience probably does like that is because the first 3 months of my videos were specifically 1 minute or less.
Yeah.
Like I had to see, so I kind of trained them to stay for short videos. So I kind of bit myself in the butt doing that. And not to say that I definitely have videos that are 4 minutes long. It's not that you have to stay under that, but
No,
for
I think that's
beginners,
good. I think that kind of helps some of the pressure, maybe for people listening, thinking, oh my gosh, I don't like to talk. I had to present for an hour. This shows you that just a couple of minutes can have
mhm,
great impact.
yeah. And I mean, I tell people all the time, like I have another friend who, just like you, she's like, I have so much to say. And I was like, you just need to break it up into different little segments.
Oh,
Because that also will help. I mean, you get more video content,
right.
like you have more videos that you can post, but also you can really niche down on your title. So if you were,
Right.
let's say
Oh,
you're
good
doing like an
point.
Instagram video, um, you could you could have like a 10-15 minute video on like, here are all the Instagram things you need to know.
Mm.
Or you could break it up and talk about Instagram hashtags, Instagram filters, Instagram algorithm, and really, title those well and start ranking your videos. So
Oh,
that's a
that's super
benefit to,
smart. Yeah, because I know,
yeah.
and I think that you and I have similar audience avatars. I mean, like for mine is essentially me. Like it's busy
Hmm.
moms who are trying to run their business, and that was the why Business Bites came about as a small bite. Is because I don't have time to sit and listen to 45-minute podcasts.
Right.
So I love that. I absolutely love that tip. And that was what was interesting is you talk about it also being a search engine with a search engine, having YouTube and Google so interrelated. In
Hmm.
your blog post where you talk about getting started on YouTube, you also then have an ebook that is how to triple your traffic. And
Hmm.
the whole idea of this super niche marketing within the titles can we give them a little bit like what's in the ebook? Do you touch on getting super specific?
Yes, yes. And my biggest tip when it comes to, the keywords, to the niching down in your title, being really specific, is using the Google Keyword Planner to look up search words, pay attention.
Yeah.
You want to find ones that are low competition and high volume. And you'll see on the Google Keyword Planner, there's columns that say competition and search volume. And then you can also use plugins like TubeBuddy that will help you search those kinds of things.
Oh.
And then once you have a bunch of videos up, or even just doesn't have to be a bunch, but a few videos, there's a section in your YouTube analytics that you can see what people are searching when they land on your video. So that might give you additional video ideas.
I'm writing this down for myself.
Yeah. So you'll go to the video and then you can see search, and there's a heading, and you can see like where are people finding you, and you'll see, oh, it's suggested videos, it was embedded externally, or YouTube search. And then you can click on that and you'll see, oh, Squarespace SEO for Squarespace.
Awesome.
Squarespace search, like, different things like that. And it'll give you all the different things. And sometimes that helps you come up with additional ideas of, like someone was searching that, I could make a video that's really targeted to that title. Even if this one is kind of related, I could make a more targeted one on this information.
Oh, I love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link all of this. This is going to be episode 35. So it's going to be at rachelbranke.com/EPI35. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link the blog post and the ebook that she has. But I wanted you guys to listen closely to what Jess was just saying. She was pointing out all the things that can come out of just narrowing your niche on your title, looking up these keywords. And you guys hear me talk a lot in the other episodes about how I want to have every action that I take, I want to get multiple benefits out of it. And right here, you're getting new ideas for other content. You're being able to go for the keywords that are high quality, but not necessarily that competitive, so you can be found. I absolutely love that you phrased it and approached it that way, and that you also have the same approach to developing this kind of content. I guess I just have one final question for you. This is so much information. I already have so many notes because this is something I really want to embrace a little bit more in my business. But do you have like one final tip that could be like one key takeaway? Not that we haven't had plenty, but one key takeaway for them to take with them about utilizing video content in their business marketing.
Be consistent. Don't feel like you have to start with 5 videos a week or 3 videos. Like, do one a week. Make them short, do a minute or 2 minutes, and then just be consistent, because that's the greatest way to get subscribers. I mean, think about your favorite TV shows. It comes on every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. They know to tune in, and that's, people are going to expect the same from you. So really getting consistent, and even if you can't do once a week, do every other week or once a month, but stick to a schedule.
One of the things that I always talk about and that I do in my business is I do kind of this batch processing where I do a whole bunch of recording, because then I don't have to set up and tear down, and I get it all done at once. I was trying to find the episode actually that I talked about this in depth, and I can't find it at this moment. I'll stick it in the show notes. But so then I only have to put on pants for like 1 week to do my recording. Yes. I don't have to do it every week. But awesome. All right. Well, Jess, thank you so much. This was a great insight into this. I hope it inspires people to. It definitely inspired me, but I hope it inspires some of the listeners to put video into their business. I feel like we can't get away from it now. Everybody's using it. Everyone loves it. Everyone's sharing it. Let people market for you. All you have to do is give them the content to do so. I will link all of Jess's information into the show notes. Again, that's going to be at rachelbranke.com/EPI35. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining Rachel on this episode of the Business Bites. For show notes, a list of recommended tools, or referenced episodes, you can find them at businessbitespodcast.com. Until next time.